Welcome to the Cup of Joe Wrestling Show.
Cup of Joe Wrestling Show?
With Joey Harris. A podcast for the wrestling fan on the go. So take your favorite beverage of choice and join Joey as he takes a look at some of the biggest shows on the WWE Network.
Welcome to the Cup of Joe Wrestling Show. I'm your host, Joey Harris, and we are broadcasting from makeshift studios in the shadow of South Central Virginia. You can follow the show's Twitter at Cup of Joe Pod, email the show at cupofjoewrestlingshow@gmail.com. To support the show, you can go to paypal.me/cupofjoepod. I am also on Cash App and Venmo at The Joey Harris. Today, folks, we are back and we are looking at Slamboree 94 from WCW. Slamboree 94 was shown on pay-per-view on May the 22nd, 1994 from the Philadelphia Civic Center in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. There were 4,000 in attendance. We start out with our intro. Mean Gene Okerlund welcomes us to Slamboree. He introduces the legends, Ole Anderson, The Assassin, Penny Banner, Red Bastien, Tully Blanchard, The Crusher, Don Curtis, Terry Funk is introduced but doesn't come out, Verne Gagne, Hardboiled Haggerty, Larry Hennig, Killer Kowalski, Ernie Ladd, Wahoo McDaniel, Angelo Mosca, Harley Race, Ray Stevens, Lou Thez, Johnny Weaver, Mr. Wrestling 2, and Tommy Young. It's sad how many are no longer with us. Mean Gene throws it to Tony Schiavone and Bobby Heenan at ringside. They run down some of what we are going to see. They bring in Commissioner Nick Bockwinkel. He is holding the International World title and calls out Sting. He comes out wearing a suit. Bockwinkel reads a statement that Rick Rude will be stripped of the title after a match in Japan. Rude was actually injured in Japan in a career-ending injury. Sting wants the title to be won in the ring. He wants to wrestle Vader for the title, and Bockwinkel makes it official. United States Championship match. Steve Austin with Colonel Robert Parker versus Johnny B. Bad. They battle for the belt before the match. The bell rings and they circle each other. Austin wants to shake hands, but Bad is ignoring him. They lock up and Bad with an arm drag. Bad follows up with a side headlock takeover for a 1 count. To a neutral corner and break. Bad with a takedown into a hammerlock. Austin with a drop toe hold, and he comes back. Austin with a sleeper, and Bad with a jawbreaker to break the hold. Austin rolls out to regroup. They show Sherry Martel at ringside. Bad back to the hammerlock, into an armbar. Austin to his feet. He gets a side headlock takeover. Bad with a top wrist lock as they battle for position. Austin with an arm lock, into a snapmare, and Austin gets a side headlock. Bad with a drop toe hold, into an armbar. He gets Austin back down. Austin reverses the armbar. Bad gets a modified victory roll to get out of the move. He gets a side headlock takeover. Bad with a flurry of moves. Bad with a hammerlock. Austin struggles to get out. Bad with an armbar. Austin gets out and hits a double axe handle. Austin stomps Bad down. He kicks Bad repeatedly. Parker chokes Bad when Austin distracts referee Randy Anderson. Austin continues the attack on Bad. They trade shots. Austin with a running suplex to Bad for a 2 count. Austin with a chin lock. Bad fighting the move. Austin gets a 2 count. Austin dropped a knee on Bad. Austin goes for a second rope elbow drop, but Bad gets his knees up. Bad with a slam. They both miss moves. Austin chops Bad in the corner. Bad with a backdrop. Austin reverses a corner whip, and Bad comes back with a clothesline, a drop kick, and a knee lift. Parker gets on the apron to distract Anderson as Bad rolls Austin up. Bad goes over and grabs Parker. Austin goes to hit Bad, but Bad moves and Parker gets hit instead. Bad gets a roll up for a 2 count. Bad with a sunset flip for another 2 count. They trade moves. Austin with a side headlock and pushes off the ropes to get the pin. Bad knocks Austin out after the match. Mean Gene plugs the hotline and then brings out Ernie Ladd and Wahoo McDaniel. Ladd says he is excited about the festivities. McDaniel says he is a lucky man. He got to wrestle all the legends. He then puts down Bobby Heenan, who was knocking McDaniel earlier. They then show pre-recorded comments from Dusty Rhodes, who was shooting an episode of Burke's Law in Hollywood. He then tells Dustin Rhodes that this is a big night for him. Legends match. Tully Blanchard versus Terry Funk. Blanchard gets a great reaction when he comes out. Gordon Soley joins commentary for this match. Funk also gets a great reaction. An EC-Dub chant goes out. Funk goes out with the crowd and they chant his name. Blanchard comes out and they battle at ringside. The bell rings. Blanchard throws Funk in and drops a knee on Funk. It then goes right back outside. They trade blows. This is fast and furious. Funk atomic drops Blanchard. Funk throws Blanchard back in the ring. They then fight out to the ramp. They continue to fight on the ramp. Funk throws Blanchard off the ramp. Funk hits Blanchard with a piece of siding. He sets the piece up against the ropes and pile drives Blanchard through it. Funk DDTs Blanchard on the ramp. A double count going. Funk headbutts Blanchard as a "We Want Blood" chant goes out. Funk with another pile driver on Blanchard. Funk misses a moonsault when Blanchard moves. Blanchard gets a 2 count. Blanchard pummeling Funk in the corner. Funk reverses the corner whip, and Blanchard runs into referee Nick Patrick. Funk grabs a chair. He sets it up and puts Blanchard on the top rope and goes to pile drive Blanchard off the rope on the chair, but just falls back on the chair. Blanchard goes after Funk and takes out Patrick. Funk beating Blanchard with the branding iron. The bell rings. A bullshit chant goes out. Funk goes out into the crowd. He elbow drops Hat Guy's hat. It's a double disqualification. Gordon Soley talks about the Slamboree Collector's Pack. Jesse Ventura interviews Ric Flair. They talk about Flair being attacked by Robert Parker's champion the night before. Flair says that he will take on anyone and stays ready always. Non-title match. Larry Zbyszko versus Lord Steven Regal with Sir William. Regal looks at Zbyszko with disdain. They circle each other. This could be a heavy stalling match. They continue to circle each other. Zbyszko hits a single leg to knock Regal down. He gets another single leg to Regal. The crowd is getting on Regal and Sir William. Zbyszko with a spin kick to the midsection and Regal rolls out to regroup with William. Zbyszko with a wrist lock. They trade moves and Zbyszko gets a 2 count. Then an abdominal stretch on Regal. He uses the ropes for leverage. They trade moves. Regal gets to the ropes. Zbyszko with an armbar into a short arm scissors. They lock up and drive to the corner. Regal beating Zbyszko down in the corner. Regal gets a 2 count. Regal with a series of European uppercuts. Regal with a front face lock. Regal with a European uppercut to Zbyszko. Zbyszko goes for a backslide, but Regal turns it into a bow and arrow. Back and forth. Zbyszko gets a sleeper on. Regal drops down to break the hold. Zbyszko reverses a butterfly suplex to get the pin. Mean Gene talks about interviewing Hulk Hogan and then brings out Terry Funk. He says all of the people introduced are legends. He didn't walk out because he is the legend. He says he is a hardcore wrestler. He puts down Dusty Rhodes and threatens Dustin Rhodes. Gordon Soley inducts a new class for the Hall of Fame. The inductees for 1994 are Harley Race, The Crusher, Ernie Ladd, The Assassin, Ole Anderson, and Dick the Bruiser. Jesse interviews Robert Parker about who his man is going to be against Ric Flair and about Bunkhouse Buck in a bull rope match against Dustin Rhodes. Bull rope match. Dustin Rhodes versus Bunkhouse Buck with Colonel Robert Parker. Buck attacks Rhodes as soon as Buck gets to the ring. They haven't even had time to attach the bull rope. Buck is thrown outside and Rhodes chokes him with the rope. Rhodes brings Buck in the ring. Rhodes with an armbar and puts the rope on Buck. Rhodes continues the assault. He stomps Buck in the groin. He slams Buck and gets a 1 count. He slams Buck down by the rope. He beats Buck with the cowbell. The crowd chants, "We want blood." They trade shots. It has been all Rhodes so far. He slams Buck's knee into the ring post. Buck falls out of the ring. Rhodes throws Buck back in and continues the assault. Buck gets the bell and starts beating Rhodes with it. He pulls Rhodes' shirt over his head and beats Rhodes. He throws Rhodes outside and runs him into a ring post. He ties Rhodes to a ring post. He beats on Rhodes repeatedly. Rhodes is trying to fight back. They hit each other. Rhodes gets out. He beats Buck down with the bell. The blood chant goes out again. Buck with a scoop slam and gets up top, but gets caught. Rhodes with corner-mounted punches. Buck slammed off and Rhodes gets a 2 count. Buck accidentally ran into referee Nick Patrick. Rhodes with a suplex. Parker gets in the ring and Rhodes goes after him. Buck gets a full Nelson on Rhodes. Parker goes to hit Rhodes with the bell, but Rhodes kicks him away and slams Buck with the bell to get the pin. Terry Funk comes out with a branding iron and attacks Rhodes. Funk and Buck attack Rhodes and bust him open. Officials out to break it up. Mean Gene talks about the hotline and then talks to Ray Stevens and Red Bastien. They are having a good time. Jesse joins Tony on commentary. WCW World Heavyweight Championship match. Ric Flair versus Barry Windham with Colonel Robert Parker. Flair out first. Wyndham is Parker's mystery man. Parker out to introduce him. Wyndham is not in shape, but has had a bunch of injuries. Michael Buffer does the official introductions. The bell rings, and they circle each other and lock up. They drive to a corner. Flair chops Wyndham in the corner. Wyndham knocks Flair down. Wyndham with a scoop slam. Wyndham rolls out to regroup. Flair with a hammerlock. Wyndham gets to the ropes. Flair chops Wyndham in the corner. Wyndham hits a clothesline. Flair clotheslined outside. Wyndham follows and attacks Flair on the outside. Wyndham goes and suplexes Flair on the inside and leg drops Flair, back and forth. Wyndham with a headlock and gets his foot on the ropes. Wyndham keeps up the assault. Flair comes back with chops. Wyndham reverses a corner whip, and Flair falls out to the floor. Parker attacks Flair while Wyndham distracts referee Randy Anderson. Wyndham comes out and hits Flair with an atomic drop. They get back in. Wyndham attacks Flair. Flair is coming back. He goes up top, but gets caught, so take a shot if you're drinking at home. Wyndham hits a superplex for a 2 count. They trade shots again. Wyndham knocked down. Flair with the delayed vertical suplex. Flair gets to figure 4. Wyndham is fighting it. He goes to the ropes. He gets out. Flair goes forward again, but Wyndham with a thumb to the eye to break it up. Flair gets it again, but Wyndham gets to the ropes right away. Flair goes up top and hits a forearm, so take a shot. He drops a knee on Wyndham, but Wyndham has his foot on the ropes. They trade shots. They tumble to the outside. Flair runs Wyndham into the barricade and throws him back in the ring. Flair attacks Wyndham in the corner. Flair with a roll-up for a 2 count. Wyndham throws Flair out. Flair takes out Parker. They trade counts as Parker tries to help Wyndham, but gets caught by the referee. Flair knocks Parker off the apron, and Wyndham rolls Flair up for a 2 count. Flair corner whipped, goes over the top to the apron, sprints to the other turnbuckle, and hits a crossbody to get the pin. Drink the top shelf stuff, folks. We get a Bash at the Beach ad. Mean Gene talks to Don Curtis and the Crusher. Don recalls his years as a wrestler. The Crusher talks about celebrating his Hall of Fame induction. Dave Schultz talks about being the guest referee for the next match. Broad Street Bullies match. Anything goes for the WCW World Tag Team Championship. The Nasty Boys Brian Knobbs and Jerry Sags versus Kevin Sullivan and Cactus Jack. This one is crazy. I can't record everything that happened. They start brawling outside right away. They hit each other with chairs. Sullivan thrown to the crowd. They all battle out into the crowd. Knobbs battling Sullivan. Jack and Sags battle towards the back, and Sags hits Jack with a fire extinguisher. Sullivan hits Knobbs with a pile driver. Jack grabs a trash can. He hits both Nasty Boys with it. Sullivan stomps on Sags. Jack goes to drop an elbow on Knobbs, who moves, and Jack hits the trash can. They batter Jack with the trash can. They trade blows. They throw chairs at each other. They brawl on the ramp. Jack clotheslines Knobbs into the ring. Sullivan hits Knobbs. Sags throws Jack off the ramp through a table. Jack suplexes the table on Sags. Sullivan hitting Knobbs with a chair, all 4 battling to the back. This is wild. Cactus and Sags fight on the ramp, and Sags throws Jack in the ring. Sags hits the elbow, but doesn't cover Jack. Sags grabs Schultz's stick. Schultz takes it away and beats up Sags. Jack hits Sags with the stick and pins Sags. New tag team champions. Sags beating Jack with the hockey stick. Max Payne comes out with the guitar. He busted the guitar over Sags' head. Knobbs backing away and gets hit with the crutch of the injured Dave Sullivan. Officials checking on Jerry Sags. Mean Gene talks to Luthez and Verne Gagne. Gagne says they are going to make an effort to prevent more violence in WCW. After what just happened, this was the most hilarious thing on this show, folks. Thez talks about the Hall of Fame. Bobby rejoins Tony on commentary. WCW International World Championship match, Sting versus Vader with Harley Race. Sting gets a great ovation when he comes out. Michael Buffer does the introductions. The bell rings and they are face to face. Vader tries to intimidate Sting. They lock up and break. Another lock up and break. They circle each other again. Vader attacks Sting in the corner. Vader beating Sting down across the ring. Vader with a short clothesline. Sting comes back and beats Vader down to the apron. Vader's headgear comes off and he confers with Race. Sting suplexes Vader when Vader gets back in. Vader with a double clap to knock Sting down, and Vader drops an elbow on Sting. He then steps on Sting's head. Vader bombed to Sting for a 2 count. Another Vader bomb for a 2 count. Vader grapevines Sting's leg. Sting fighting the pain. Race tells Vader to break the leg. Vader headbutts Sting several times. Sting gets back to his feet, but he is hurting. Vader goes back to the leg with a submission hold. Sting gets to the ropes. Back and forth in the corner. Sting drops an elbow on Vader. Vader drops several elbows on Sting. He can't get the pin though. Sting comes back again. Sting with a flying clothesline, but Vader ducks, and referee Randy Anderson gets taken out. Vader with a choke slam, but no referee to count. Race up on the ramp with a chair. Sting ducks the shot, and Race hits Vader. Sting DDTs Vader. He gets a 2 count. Sting clotheslines and suplexes Vader. Vader out to ringside. Sting goes for a Stinger Splash, but Vader catches Sting and slams him down. Race tells Vader to go up top. He misses the moonsault. Sting goes to cover. Race climbs up top for the falling headbutt, but hits Vader when Sting moves. Sting with a top rope splash to get the pin and become the new International World Champion. Tony and Bobby recap what has happened. Vader comes and screams with the chair that he didn't lose the match. They promote Hulk Hogan's interview on WCW Saturday Night and bash at the beach before signing off. We get our end credits. Final thoughts. This was an enjoyable show, but things are changing big time in WCW. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at TheJoeyHairs. If you like the show, please leave a review on iTunes, Apple Podcasts, or your preferred podcast app. I would really appreciate it. We can also be found on Spotify and YouTube. Just search for The Cup of Joe Wrestling Show and don't forget to hit subscribe. Thank you for joining me this week. This is Joey saying so long from the heart of Virginia.
The Cup of Joe Wrestling Show is a production of Baby Kangaroo Media.